No, I didn't get no. I did my book.
Good evening, everybody. I'm David Jones, Sergeant of Arms, and welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. Tonight, we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. We have a microphone that's right here, so we don't have to hold the mic anymore. And I just want to get from Sonja, if you can hear us clearly, can you wave? There you go. It's supposed to have a 20-foot radius, so those closer to you can speak loud and don't have to use the dirty old microphone. What else? Last week I challenged all of the guests and newer members to stand up whenever you're introducing yourself or speaking because you're getting out of your comfort zone. Tonight, in addition to standing up and saying hello, you need to project a little bit louder so that the mic can pick you up. And also last week, I introduced our president, but I forgot to mention something about him. Not that we're bragging about him or anything, but I mentioned that he was magna cum laude when he got his bachelor's degree back in Dominican Republic. But I failed to mention, at least for me, I think it's impressive, that he got his postgraduate degree in telecommunications and computer engineering at the University of Surrey in England. And I talked to him, I was like, was that a certification, did it online? It's like, no, I went there for a couple of years and studied, and that's where he learned to speak English after leaving Dominican. And I thought, it'd be funny to hear him with the English accent, but he doesn't have an English accent. So if you could welcome our former club secretary, former vice president of education, and our current president, Mr. Elvis Lopez. And before I interrupt you, I forgot to mention that we have one of our newer members, and she's also our area director, Dr. Carla Jones. It's her first time in the meeting. She's also going to be graduating from the meeting. So, no way.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. For me, it's a pleasure to preside this meeting tonight. I love this introduction, so this is something that obviously is part of what we are doing also to lift up ourselves and also practice when we are doing introductions also, because someday we will have to do it, right? And what better than doing it here in this environment? And obviously, I appreciate David going over my background and a great way to introduce and start the meeting. I would like to also mention that we have, as usual, it has become part of our normal meetings to have something different. So tonight we have something different. You'll see in a couple of minutes. I would like to first give an opportunity to our members or our guests, I should rather say, to introduce yourselves. Looking at this online, sorry, we have a little change, and that's part of what we have new today. So the ones who are online, I don't see anybody online, but we have a few members, a few guests that are here in person. So I would like you to introduce yourself, tell us your name, how did you hear about our club, and what is one goal that you're pursuing by coming to our Toastmasters meeting tonight. So as David said, we will have to stand up and speak out loud so that everybody can catch what we're saying, but also the ones who are online. We're trying today our new mic, and hopefully this is something that we can continue doing and perfectioning as part of our regular meetings. So I will go ahead and start with one of our guests here on your side, please.
Oh, she is a member.
Oh, she is.
Okay.
Welcome to our new meeting. So that will be Mike. Are you becoming a member also?
No.
My name is Mike Mendez, was an eight-time, heard about Toastmasters, being a friend. Just here to do there, speaking, to, see opportunities on my job and other, and Denver, so I know how it works. So, yeah, hopefully this is my last time meeting this.
Before the next one continues, can you online hear what we're saying here? Can you hear us? Okay.
We could not hear the guests as much, but we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So let's continue with,
Maybe they
if
come
you can
here.
come over here closer.
Yeah, there you go. You should have me close.
There, that should be fine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ebony Stubbs. This is my third, I think, Toastmasters meeting. I've learned about Toastmasters a long time ago. We had a chapter in college, and then I have friends that are active in a couple of the Atlanta chapters. So wanted to join to get more comfortable with public speaking and organizing my thoughts and being able to think more on the spot. Thank you.
Next up, I think we have two office members.
But so my name is Marcelo Peña, I also go by Celo Effect. This is my fourth time being at Toastmasters, and I found this by just Googling online, public speaking. So what I do in my career as a kidney health and wellness coach, I know that public speaking is something that I need to get comfortable with in order to get better. I actually got invited to be a keynote speaker tomorrow, so I'm just getting the reps in. You know, this is like jujitsu or boxing, so the more that I do it, the more that I get comfortable in. Yeah, just keep evolving and keep getting better. So here we are.
It's good to have you here.
Well, my name is Xavier. I heard about Toastmasters from a friend of mine that heard me pick up. That coming to Toastmasters for 2 months. And my goal here is to be a confident speaker and a great leader.
Thank you all our guests, and again, welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. Now I would like to introduce the person who is going to lead us through this meeting. As you know, every week we have a volunteer be the Toastmaster of the day. She is a very seasoned Toastmaster. She loves Toastmasters. She is part of different groups, multiple groups, actually. She is member of our sister club, South Park Toastmasters. She is a frequent participant of our Queen City Toastmasters meeting. She is an HR specialist and, as I mentioned, a very seasoned Toastmaster. She has a surprise for us, which is her topic and theme of the day. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Sonja Pons.
Hey, thank you so much for that great welcome. My fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and honored guests, welcome to Queen City Toastmasters. It's my pleasure to be a part of your sister club, South Park Toastmasters, and we really appreciate you inviting us in and treating us like family. Now, the theme today is the insurance of connection. Now, I got a couple of side eyes, like, what's she talking about? But today is about the power of connection. Family connection is important. And some people would say it's vital. So vital that on today, National Life Insurance Day, Someone is calculating and tabulating its monetary value. But family, to experience this financial windfall, someone that you love must cease to exist in this realm. This heartbreaking severing of ties that eventually manifests in the longing for more time and a lingering hope of a future reunion. Now, how many of you, by show of hands, have had the experience to cash a check of this type of opportunity? And if you haven't, let me tell you, in fact, let me guarantee to you, you don't want it. There's not enough depreciating assets that you can collect worth the currency you had to pay to acquire it. Connection is important. It is vital. It is vibrant. And it is soul sustaining. If and only if you take the time to nurture it. Now, I know some of you may feel like, I don't know how to do it. I don't do it so well. But let me tell you, you're in the right space to practice. Because in this room, whether you want to believe it or not, you are essential. And you are wanted. You are the missing puzzle piece, David. We were in like mind. If you accept this gift and sometime a challenge to connect, you will find your connection to your lifeline of purpose. And you'll get the opportunity to be on belay to help the rest of us find ours. So with great enthusiasm, I want to say, welcome home. And with that, I would like to call on our inspirational thought leader today, Ron Bullock. Ron, please come to the stage.
Hello, good evening. And Susan Jeffers' book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. She made mention of you don't have to hang out with your enemies, even if it's the one within. Sometimes I find myself making excuses for my inner enemies. But since they're not my friend, I gotta find a way to unfriend them. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ron. Now we're going to call up my tag team. These are the individuals, those puzzle pieces that help put this all together. First up, I'd like to call on our timer, Leon White. Leon, please come to the stage.
How's everybody doing today? It's a little bit different not having a microphone, but I like it. It gets you to practice body language. So today I am your timer. And to speak about a little bit of the importance of timing when it comes to giving a speech. One, it's respectful to your guests and your audience to stay on time. Also, it helps you to have a bit and be a bit concise in your speech so that you can make sure that it's very much impactful. And then also, it gives you an opportunity to really understand and gain a level of consciousness of time when you're up here. Because sometimes for me, it feels like sometimes time slows down. Sometimes it also feels like it speeds up. So today I'll be timing the 3 different areas of speaking, which is our speeches, which will be 5 to 7 minutes. On the 5th minute, the green light will come on. On the 6th minute, the yellow light will come on. And on the 7th minute, the red light will come on. There we go. For table topics, you'll have 2 minutes to speak with a 30-minute grace period. At 1 minute, the green light will come on. At 1:30, the yellow light will come on. And at 2 minutes, the red light will come on. And then lastly, we have our evaluators, which is a 2 to 3 minute speech. At 2 minutes, the green light will come on. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the yellow light will come on. And at 3 minutes, the red light will come on. Thank you.
Fantastic. Leon, before you go, we have an icebreaker today that's 4 to 6 minutes. Can you explain to our newbie member what is the timing for icebreakers?
Yes, I do. You said it's 4 to 6 minutes?
Yes.
Absolutely. With the for 4 minutes, would the green light go on at 4? Okay, so the green light will come on at 4. And then at 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Oh, sorry, 5 minutes, the yellow light will come on. And at 6 minutes, the red light will come on. Thanks for that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Leon. Now, family, this is the puzzle piece that keeps you thinking. And when you have insurance, this is the rider that makes all determinations. Next up, we have our grammarian to give us the word of the day. And our grammarian today is Jamie.
Make it count for
You got a long way to go now. All right, good evening, everyone. I am Jamie Richardson. I am your grammarian for tonight's meeting, which means I have 3 primary roles. The first is to unveil, along with our theme of connectivity, the word of the day, which is relationship. So I encourage all of our speakers, whether you have a prepared speech or whether you're doing one of the roles or during the table topics, to use the word of the day. I'll be keeping track and giving credit to all of those individuals who successfully seized the opportunity. I'm also going to be listening for use of filler words, language that doesn't make us as effective as we would like to be, and maybe distracts a little bit from our message. And then my favorite part is to also listen for really effective language, so really powerful words or statements that resonate or that are memorable. And I look forward to sharing all of those as well. And I will come back at the end of the meeting to deliver my grammarian's report. I'll now turn it back to our Toastmaster. Thank you all. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Jamie. Family, the word of the day is relationship, and I'm going to challenge all of us to use that word at least 15 times today. Try to use relationships at least 15 times today in your prepared speech or a table topic. With that said, family, in Toastmasters, we believe that we are creating leaders and communicators. And in practicing the power of connection in this meeting, we build relationships. And one of the best ways to build a relationship in Toastmasters is to introduce yourself. And today, family, we have someone who's just going to do that. Her name is Carla Jones. Today, Carla is going to speak from the pathway engaging humor. Now, if you're new to Toastmasters, we have 11 different pathways where you can just get in where you fit in. And her icebreakers today, 4 to 6 minutes, as you already heard. And the purpose of the icebreaker speech is to introduce yourself to the club and to learn the basic structures of a public speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say, Carla Jones, the many hats I wear, the many hats I wear, Carla Jones.
This is not part of the ad. All right, thank you, Madam Toastmasters. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As mentioned, I am Carla Jones, and I am a new member of Queen City Toastmasters, and I'm going to introduce myself to you today. I have a question for you. Who has played Two Truths and a Lie? The icebreaker. Great.
Well, we're gonna do that right now with me. The first one, well, you're gonna have to guess what my 2 truths and a lie are. The first one is, I visited 49 of the 50 United States. I swam with stingrays and sharks, and I was security for the NBA for 9 years. Which one was my lie? Is it the 49 out of 50 states? Raise your hand if you think that's it. That whole table. Is it swam with stingrays and sharks? All right. Good. Everyone else thinks I'm crazy. And, or is it NBA security for 9 years? All right, so the lie actually is I visited 49 out of the 50 United States. Good job, that table. That is on my bucket list to do. In addition, I have swum with stingrays and sharks. I am that crazy person that went to the Caribbean and they let us off a boat. Then we swam in a cage and they closed the cage with us and baby sharks and stingrays. I did do security for the NBA for 9 years, in which I was responsible for coaches, players, and our all-time GOAT, depending on what age group you are in, Michael Jordan. Therefore, this leads into what I'm gonna do today. The many hats that I wear. And my first hat is gonna be the Charlotte Bobcats, as some of you know are the Charlotte Hornets. I got my start basically in my career through them, and I built a lot of relationships that you'll hear about throughout this entire speech. My first hat is my high school graduation hat. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, the graduate of Pine Forest High School. Then I went on to East Carolina University. Go Pirates. We do that. I have a scholarship in my name there. I was a 2015 recipient of their inaugural 40 Under 40 award. 2010, I received their Incredible Women Award. And this February, I received an award in honor of the first Black graduate from East Carolina University. I also am currently the chair of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Therefore, I am a true pirate through and through. My time at East Carolina, what led me to sports is I got my master's degree in sport management. Therefore, I am an assistant professor at Queen's University of Charlotte in sport management and a program coordinator. Every year, I am able to allow students to network with industry professionals, get them experiential learning opportunities, all while teaching them and building them up to have successful careers in sports, such as box sports. I'm a lover of sports. One day they're going to hear me give a speech about my inner wannabe athlete. I am by no means a great athlete, but I will support any team. Carolina Panthers is one team that I support. We did pretty good the other night. Bryce Young, second round, we got a wide receiver. We all know what happened with CMC. Forever will be grateful to the Charlotte Hornets, as mentioned. That's where I got my start. I support the home team. Wannabe athlete. Every summer, I help women train for their first triathlon. I mentor the swim, but I also do a little bit of mentoring of the bike and the run. I love seeing these ladies cross the finish line. We did education, we did career. Let's talk about service. I'm a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, founded at Howard University in 1913. We stand for sisterhood, scholarship, and service. I currently serve on a national committee, and I'm also elected officer in the chapter. This is a fur pal hat. I was a member of Big Brother Big Sisters, in which I had a big brother for over 8 years. He's now a graduate of University of North Carolina in Greensboro, and he's looking for a job. So if anyone in here has the opportunities, let me know. I'm on the board of directors for NC Shape, as I serve as the president of the Sport Management Association, and a new organization I'll be joining is called the NotCo Foundations, getting minorities interested in baseball. So we did education, career, and a few service activities. What I love in my spare time is holidays. My favorite holiday is Christmas. Love everything about it. I also love that time of year called Halloween. I've dressed up as Whitney Houston, Left Eye, and Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. There's one thing about it I don't like. Clown puns. My mother let us watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space when I was little, and I've been terrified since. I don't like a clown or that creepy Easter bunny in the mall. In closing, thank you all for allowing me to share a little bit about myself, and I hope to share more about you. Little bit of Toastmasters background is I have my competent communicator, competent leader, and I finished my first pathway presentation mastery. Therefore, I'm looking forward to finish this next pathway, and as they say, at my famous place on earth, my most favorite place on earth. Now it's time to say goodbye to all my new friends that I just built relationships with. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic family. This reminds me of a quote, anonymous quote I found on the internet. It says, connection keeps our worlds intertwined. Connections allow us to explore, to innovate, to love, to trust, and to create, and to simply be. Who knew that you could talk about the power of connection through hats? Job well done, and welcome to the family, Carla. Next up, we have Colin Stifler. Colin, forgive me if I say your name wrong. He's speaking from the dynamic pathway, dynamic leadership. And the purpose of his speech today is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Colin?
Excellent pronunciation of my name, by the way. I just want to say that. Most people butcher it.
Oh, fantastic.
Back to I'm glad to speak tonight after that excellent speech. So.
Oh,
Good
no.
evening.
Wait. I want to introduce you. I want to introduce you to Toastmaster style. Colin Stifler. Don't beat yourself. Make them beat you. Don't beat yourself. Make them beat you. Colin Stifler.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sonja. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Please raise your hand if you have ever mastered a skill. It can be any skill, no matter how large or how small, from calculus to the perfect French toast. If you believe you've mastered a skill, please raise that hand. Okay, I think this was quite a few more than I had anticipated. So unlike many of you, I have never mastered a skill, not one. Now, don't get me wrong, I've been good at some things in my life. I was a decent high school baseball player, passable theater actor. I've always had a knack for learning languages, but I've never mastered any one of those, at least not to my own standard for what mastery is. However, if you could call me an artist at one thing, that thing would be beating myself, shooting myself in the foot, and failing to seize opportunities that were mine for the taking. And to explain what I mean by that, I need to take you all on a little trip down memory lane to my native land of Northern Ohio, or basement country, as I like to call it. So for anyone who's lived in the northern part of the United States, if you lived in a house in particular, you probably had a basement or are very intimately familiar with basements. These glorious extra floors underneath your house that can be used for storage, a cool escape from the summer heat, or for the devious among us, a torture chamber for disliked or unwanted younger siblings. But we won't go there. I know we all value our sibling relationships very much. In my childhood home, I was fortunate to have certain luxuries in my basement, including a ping pong table. Now, my older brother and I, we played a lot of ping pong growing up, maybe even hundreds, if not thousands of games over the course of our childhood. And on balance, I'd say we were pretty evenly matched. It was a good rivalry. I won probably about as many games as I lost. But when I reflect on those losses, my brother didn't beat me every time he won a game, because the truth is, I beat myself quite a bit. You see, in ping pong, there's two ways to score a point. The first way is to hit an unstoppable shot past your opponent, either with the right amount of speed or the perfect placement that they can't successfully return it. Or your opponent can hit the ball out of bounds or hit it into their side of the net, committing an unforced error that gives you that point. So there's a difference. You could either earn your win or you could get it on the cheap. And although I like to think that I'm a better ping pong player than my brother, I didn't bring my best to every game. If I could go back, and I still regret this, and it might seem petty, but I do regret it. If I could go back and bring my A game just 10% more of the time, I would be the undisputed champion of ping pong. in that great sibling rivalry. Now, I don't play ping pong very much anymore, mostly because I don't have a table. And further than that, because I don't have a basement in which to put that table down here in crawl space country. But I've noticed how unforced errors and my own inconsistency have followed me to other parts of my life. Take job interviews, for example. Sure, I've had some success in job interviews, ones where I've really knocked it out of the park. And unsurprisingly, more often than not, when I do that, opportunity follows. But I've also had a lot of job interviews where I've fallen flat on my face. Maybe I fluffed a few questions that I should have anticipated. Or maybe I didn't prepare diligently enough to really demonstrate to the interviewer that A, not only do I have what it takes to work for your company, but B, you should just cancel every other interview that you've got scheduled after mine. So I've got this self-inflicted losing streak that I've been dealing with, and it's a problem. And I'm ready to eradicate that problem. So what can I do about it? I've come up with 2 strategies that I'm working to implement in my life so that I can be my most excellent self more often. The first of which is hardly an earth-shattering revelation, but practice. The first thing that I need to do more of is practice. There's a saying that I'm particularly fond of that goes, an amateur practices something until they get it right. A professional practices until they can't get it wrong. For my whole life, I've practiced to that amateur standard. I've maybe even fallen short of that amateur standard. But I need to adopt a professional approach to practice. And in fact, that's one reason why, for those of you who have been part of Queen City Toastmasters for the last 2 years, you haven't seen me give a lot of speeches. It's not so much that I fear speaking. I mean, I get nerves, I think like most normal people. However, it's the fear of significant preparation that really kills me. I know that if I really want to knock a speech out of the park, I got to set time aside to practicing it. And that's really tough for me. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a little lazy by nature. And that's got to change. So practice is the first domino that needs to fall on my route to becoming a winner. The second one is something that I've come to recently, but I've really developed an appreciation for. And that is the practice of visualizing success, of visualizing reaching a certain level of quality in my activity level, in my output. So it is what it sounds like from the standpoint of you are imagining what success looks like before you do something. So today, during my lunch break, I sat in my car for 5 minutes and I visualized standing in front of you all, delivering this speech, standing tall, projecting energy and charisma into the space. And it almost gave me this feeling of deja vu when I first stood up here at the beginning of the speech. Like, I've been here before. I know what the energy or the vibe that I'm going for is tonight. And I think it really does help. And I think it's something that maybe some of you may also find valuable. So read up on it online. There's a lot of great resources online about visualization. So practice and visualization. Those are my personal marching orders. For any of you winners, because I know there's a lot of winners in here, if you've got any better ideas, anything that I'm missing, please tell me. And for anyone who might identify with my personal struggle with inconsistency, with beating myself and making it easier for others to beat me, let's talk. It's probably something that you know, maybe something that I know, we can exchange with each other. Maybe we'll be better for it. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. You know, I was thinking to myself, if this is an advanced club, because the way you are leveling up is unstoppable. I am so inspired. I'm so lucky to be a part of this family. So grateful for this relationship of connection. Now, you know, Anonymous is always lit. And Anonymous said something perfect that ties in to what Colin said today. Connections gives us the permission and the power to be who we are and to enjoy the things that inspire us. Thank you, Colin and Carla, for inspiring us about the power of connection and the power of being present and the power of learning that relationships, whether it's your position, whether it's a sibling, whether it's a thought or an opportunity, can lead us to new places. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, family, it's time for you all to participate in this meeting. Now, I like to Toastmasters meetings experiences. And our next experience leader is Yasmin Ragout. Yasmin, correct me when you get up to the stage. She is our topics master, and she's going to lead us into an impromptu session called Table Topics. Yasmin, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. It's a tough one. It's Rigo, but it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Well, hold on, before you get started, now, Sonja is part of our South Park Club, and they do things differently.
Okay.
Here we do our timers report after each session. So just stand on pause. No, no, you're gonna stay, he's 1 second. So Sonja, do you wanna?
Yes. Can we have the timers report, Leon?
Yes, all of our speakers today kept a excellent relationship with time. Carla, you came in at 5 minutes and 53 seconds. And Colin, you came in at 6 minutes and 54 seconds.
Fantastic, Leon. And the relationship to correction is just as lovely as the relationship to connection. Next up, family, we have Yasmin, who's going to tell us a little bit about what it means to be a topic master in Toastmasters. Jane.
I'm back. Yeah. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. My name is Yasmin Rigo, and I am your table topics master for today. So the theme, of course, as Sonja told us, is the insurance of connections. So that will be what our questions are related to. And again, just as a reminder, you have 1 to 2 minutes to answer. Everyone is welcome to come up and answer any of the questions. So just raise your hand and come up, and then I'll ask you the question once you're up here. You'll have a green light once you get to 1 minute, yellow light once you get to 1:30, and the red light once you get to 2 minutes. So do I have any volunteers to come up and answer the first question? Xavier.
Haven't done this in a few weeks, so.
Ready?
I think I.
Okay. Describe a time that you shared a negative event that sparked a connection between yourself and someone else. Describe a time when you shared a negative event with someone else. That you shared a negative event that sparked a connection between you and someone else.
Well, that's definitely an excellent question. I think the best way to answer that question is to figure out what builds a relationship. You know, whether it's a friend or a coworker or a family member. You know, if you're in a car and you're on your way back home, a long trip from, let's say, Charleston. On your way to Charleston, you might be familiar with all the roads, but you want to take a pit stop because you got to get some gas or you're just hungry. Well, unfortunately, your phone died, so now you don't have any GPS. So you're on this road after eating your lunch, and you're driving down, you're like, okay, I do recall this road. I do recall the stop sign. I remember this house because it was a pink house. So I remember this way, but I don't know if I'm going the right way. So you're going down this road and you're going through stages of doubt. But during this time, you're just ruminating, memories with the person right next to you and saying, remember this one time that we went here, just stay calm, we can get through this. And by the time you realize that there's a blue, red, and white sign that says Highway I-77 straight ahead. We're going back to Charlotte. You're both high-fiving each other.
and you're on the way back home to Charlotte, I believe that that is a great time to build that relationship, build that strong connection between you and the person with you. So, thank you.
Good to be here. Do we have any volunteers to come up for the second question? Alan? Please. Question is, how have the connections you've made along the way helped to guide you to where you are now?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and hopefully future Toastmasters. I've given speeches on this before. When it comes to Toastmasters, I know the primary reason to join is to become a better speaker. But there are also multiple other intrinsic benefits of being a Toastmaster. And that is the relationships that you build. Not just necessarily at the club level, but also in the area, division, and district. You can meet Toastmasters from clubs all across the globe. And by showing up to meetings regularly, I was able to prove to my fellow club members what my potential is. And it got me nominated to be a club officer, which then afforded me the opportunity to visit other clubs and to attend various contests and training events. And I've been able to build more relationships that way. Relationships that have helped me gain my current district role as a public relations manager and being able to be a contest master for a speech contest or being able to be a judge, a timer, or help out in any way that I can. And what I'm ultimately hoping for is to be able to build a relationship with possibly my future boss. Because one of the other reasons to join Toastmasters is to gain marketable skills. And you can do that by becoming a club officer, which, by the way, July 1st is your opportunity to do that. And you can learn how to balance budget, do social media marketing, do delegating to tasks, running a meeting. These are all skills that can help you gain a promotion at your job or just get another job altogether. And a lot of times, even for me personally, when I graduated college, I didn't have the necessary experience to be able to gain experience elsewhere. And Toastmasters affords you the opportunity to create your own work experience, because even though you're not getting paid for it, it's still experience that counts. And I'm thankful for all the relationships that I've built in the last 5 years that I've been a Toastmaster that have been able to help me hopefully get to the next level of my career at some point, as well as just having plenty of friends that I can count on if I ever need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Right, do we have any other volunteers that would? No. Why is making connections so integral to personal growth?
Well, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. This is, other people can help you so much in building your confidence in things and in having given you opportunities to share. So, just think about even from a family. In fact, today I was babysitting my grandchildren, a 3-year-old and a 4 months old. So that is giving me a thing to share. And granted, they are not telling me things. They are in their language of their, cuddling or trying to wrestle away from you. But those things are built into your soul. It makes you feel wanted, and you know that they feel that same expression. So it's a relationship that's starting to build And you hope that the next time you go there, they'll recognize there's, which is something I think is, it's very heartening to you, but I guess it enlarges your life. And these are the type things that I guess it's love. And that having that building of that love, I think is a tremendous thing. And I get a lot out of it. I think I get more out of it sometimes maybe than the children, but I know my daughter and son-in-law are very happy to have me taking care of them while they are trying to work. Thank you for your time.
We have time for one more? I'm sorry? Oh. Marcelo. What is the first step in building a connection with another individual?
Ooh. That's a good question. So in my journey, what I've experienced, the first step, what was the question again?
What's the first step in building a connection with another individual?
Okay, the first step in building a connection with another individual is understanding their journey in their life, where they came from. One thing that I've learned is that everybody filters this world and this reality in a very unique way. So being able to put away our prejudice, put away our judgment and our own personal thoughts of ourselves on how somebody should be, right? Is key in when creating a relationship with somebody. Something, again, that I've learned is that to not beat up ourselves, to not knock yourself down, because the world is hard enough as it is. And we all have this inner critic that is always just there. And our mind is either in the future or in the past. And to be able to slow down and be in the very moment and recognize when somebody's being vulnerable, when somebody is sharing their most intimate parts of their life with another person is key to building relationships. It's key to really having somebody open up, especially if you want somebody to fall in love with you. It's not easy. Life isn't easy. But again, putting yourself out there in the fires of life's trials and tribulations and forgiving people when they make mistakes is key to building relationships. So again, don't judge people. You don't know what they go through in life. You don't know what they've experienced, and we need more love. We need more compassion, more empathy. So stop being nervous. Put yourself out there. Share your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcelo. Toastmaster, do we have time for one more, or are we wrapping up?
We have time for one quick one. Yes, go ahead.
What would you say is the most important connection you've made so far?
The most important connection that I've made so far. It's of nothing here on earth. The most important connection for me is my connection to God. From the time I came into this world till today, where I take my breath, He's been there. When I felt like I was less than the dirt beneath my feet, till high above the skies, till putting on a crown, calling myself, not being crowned a queen, winning a contest, getting a degree, he was there. When they told me that in 2 weeks you won't be working here, he was there. When I had my children and I didn't think I could endure the pain, he was there. But the biggest thing that he did was give me each one of you. And because he's given me each one of you, I have a relationship, an individual relationship that I'm able to cultivate. I'm able to network. I'm able to expand my knowledge, my thought process, my feeling like I belong on this earth. And every time I step out, I thank him. Because if it was not for him, it would be no you, it would be no me. So the most important connection, relationship that I have is not of this world. It's God, because he gave me you.
Thank you. And with that, I'll hand it back over to our Toastmaster.
Fantastic session. What the power of connection. What did we learn about each other in these table topics? All I can say, Yasmin, I'm from the great state of Alabama. All I can say is, well. With that, family, thank you so much for allowing me to usher you into this part of our Toastmaster session. Now I'll call on our general evaluator, Dr. Eric Laxer, who will lead us into our evaluations. Doctor.
Can you see me out there? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. What an incredible meeting we have had so far. And it has been just a fantastic experience building relationships with all of you as we sit here in the room. Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding us. We need to have a timer's report from table topics. And for that, I'm going to call upon Toastmaster Leon.
So again, everybody had a great relationship with time in talking about relationships. Xavier, you came in at 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Alan cut it real close, came in at 2 minutes and 29 seconds. Bill, you came in at 1 minute and 42 seconds. And Marcelo came in at 2 minutes and 14 seconds. And Andrea came in at 1 minute and 41 seconds.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leon. So we are going to jump right into the evaluation portion of our evening. And I am delighted to call upon our past president, David Jones, who will be evaluating the speech given by our new member, Dr. Carla Jones. Please join me in giving David a rousing welcome. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and thank you, Dr. Carla Jones. No relation. Now, your speech was an introduction, but you're a advanced Toastmaster, but it was an introduction to this club. It's your first meeting here at our club. Carla was a member of another club which closed, and she came to our club. She was president of that club, and it didn't close any fault of hers. Be sure. You started with props, and I think props are great. I always like to use a prop of one sort or another, but you used it for your whole speech. It basically told your story. It showed your journey of life, who you are, what you've done. I thought it was a very creative idea. I haven't seen that done before. I thought it was great. To the basics, you had great rhythm, good volume, your pace, your hand gestures were all great. And then you went through the different changes and stages. You were kept explaining that you had just done your education, and then you did sports and charity and holidays. You kept reminding us of what you had already told us. You told us, and then you told us what you told us. And you're a great storyteller. You let us know who you are. And at least for me, you unintentionally made some of us feel inferior. I thought I was very busy, and you do a lot of stuff. That's all I can say. Now, to challenge yourself, you could have engaged the audience more. You had so many topics. It would be fun to ask somebody like who's a Pirates fan or who's a Jordan fan or whatever, just to get some interaction from them. And also due to the props, you were kind of stuck right here the whole time. You weren't able to use the whole stage. But that was just because of the props, but maybe could have brought some of the props out, show them or whatever. And finally, like I said, you're an experienced Toastmasters. No, most people don't know that of you yet, but she's also our area director. She's over our club. And I'm very happy that she's our area director because I've seen her in contests before and she always wins. But as an area director, she can't compete. Therefore, some other people have chances to win speech contests. But she is a district leader and I'm glad that she's part of our club and thank you for your speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster David. Our next speech evaluation will be given for the speech by Colin. And please join me in giving an enthusiastic welcome to our current president, Elvis. Now that we've given Elvis an enthusiastic welcome, please join me in welcoming Bill, who will be doing Colin's evaluation.
I was wondering what happened there. Well, this was a delightful speech, Colin. The thing I really liked about the idea of never, like you're saying, not beating yourself, but of visualizing how you can be successful. And your stories about going about, into the basement and how you were able to do these different things. I really loved it. It gave you brought that experience that you had, and you could tell it was personal. It was in your heart that you felt these things and you went out and conquered them. And I thought that was that was great. Your timing was right on. The other part in there about, in the way of improvement, one of the ideas would be the smiling, a little bit more smiling. Your gestures were perfect. The clarity of your words were perfect because I used to fly jets and I'm still a little bit hard of hearing. I guess that's probably with age too, but the clarity was very good. The tone was well. Your hand gestures, the phony like number one, etc. So I think those were complimentary. And let's see, there's some more things I have over here about. Oh yes, and you eyeballed the people. You looked at everyone in the audience, which is very good because you're projecting yourself with them, and that I think is a very important thing because they feel themselves part of you when you're doing that. And let's see here. Comfort level. I thought you were very comfortable, even though, like you said, you may have been in the car and a little nervous, but to me, you were very comfortable. And like I said, maybe just a little bit smile on there, and that would be a great thing. And like I said, your stories were good, and I really appreciated because it gave me a motivation to really go back in that thinking about what you were saying about try to visualize yourself in a successful area. And a lot of us, myself included, sometimes would like to not do that. And that may hinder us, like you were suggesting. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Can we please now have Leon provide a timer's report?
Yeah, the relationship with me in this meeting today has been a bit strange. I've been forgotten a few times, but no, I'm just joking. But in giving good evaluations, it's usually hard to keep good relationships with time. However, our evaluators today did an excellent job. David, you came in at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Bill, you came in at 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
Thank you, Leon. I will now take a few minutes and do an evaluation of the meeting as a whole, starting with the beginning of the meeting with our Sergeant at Arms, David. I really enjoyed the new style you bring to introducing Elvis, and given that you introduce Elvis every week, and I know you've told a bunch about him, I can't wait to hear what you're gonna find out about Elvis and share with us for next week. The other thing I want to point out is every week lately, you seem to experiment with a new setup in the room. Today, we have the room-wide microphone, and just kudos to you, because I know that every week we come here, the room is going to be set up in a way that is very appropriate for us. And you really go out of your way to give all of us such a great experience, and thank you for doing that. Elvis, I want to compliment you also on how you introduced our guests today. You had a lot of enthusiasm, and also how you introduced Sonja, and you really used your voice very well today. Perhaps it's because you knew you were trying to project to the microphone, but you did an outstanding job, so thank you for doing that. Sonja, you have been our Toastmaster, and I want to point out several things. So far, and it's not over, but this has been a master class in how to be a Toastmaster of the day for the following reasons. Number one, you've been well prepared from the very beginning. You were sitting at your camera, you had your headphones on, your microphone was working. Number two, you introduced our speakers with such confidence that I feel like you imparted your confidence on each of the speakers, and that's a very important role, the Toastmaster. Number three, you kept the audience really engaged. And I'm going to give you the 4E award. You enunciated and spoke clearly. You were energetic. You were entertaining with your voice, your facial expressions. And finally, you were educational. So thank you for doing such a great job for all of us today. Ron, this was your first time being inspirational speaker, and I think other than your icebreaker, your first time doing a role here. You did a fantastic job. I love your choice of what you spoke to us about. The quote you shared, "You don't have to hang out with your enemies, even the one within," I think is a phenomenal quote, which I've never heard before, but which I'm going to use. So thank you for that. Leon, I love the way you started when you came up as timer. You walked up here and you casually said to the audience, "How's everyone doing today?" Which usually necessitates an answer from us. And I think that created a very nice, engaging interaction. Jamie, you picked an excellent word consistent with the theme. I know you're going to give us your report in a minute, and I look forward to hearing from you. Yasmin, great job with table topics. First time doing table topics. And I'm going to point out 3 things that you did really well. You did a great job choosing your questions consistent with the theme today. You did a great job just introducing people as they came up and mentioning their name again, so we knew who the speakers were. And you also managed the stage really well because you guided the speakers up to this area so they could be center stage. And great job to all of our speakers, Xavier, Alan, Bill, Marcelo, and Andrea. Thank you for doing such a good job. The evaluations tonight were really excellent. Both of you consistently pointed out the positive and then offered something to work on. Bill, I also liked, I think I saw you hand Colin the written evaluation form as well. And that's a very important part of doing your evaluations. It's not really completed when you stop speaking. You really should hand the person you're evaluating a written form or send it to them by email. I know David is going to send one to Carla if he hasn't already given it to her. The last thing I want to point out was occasionally things don't go so well during meetings. So for example, a couple times we kind of jumped through the timers reports. I've done that before. I thought David did a great job of pointing that out. Alan also did to me. And I think Sonja, you handled that so well on the receiving end. You just rolled with it. And I also made a little bit of a faux pas. I want to apologize to Elvis and Bill. I have no idea where that came from because I had Bill written down on my notes, but Elvis, you were just so engaging tonight. I have to introduce you. With that, I'm now going to call upon Jamie, who will give us the grammarian report. Please join me in giving him a great.
Throw another one just for Elvis. Great meeting. as your grammarian, deliver the grammarian's report. I want to start with the word of the day, and I'm thrilled to say that we all have a really healthy relationship with the word relationship, because I heard it again and again and again. So many people that I'm not going to go through all of it. I'm going to give the whole club credit today for using the word of the day. Now I want to move to things that I thought were particularly effective use language. I'm going to call on Ron as well. Thought your phrase of unfriendly enemies within was very memorable. I also want to call on Sonja for connection and our theme of connection today, and connections being soul sustaining. Again, very powerful words that you use. And then Colin, practice until you can't get it wrong anymore. So the professional approach to practicing, that's something that's going to be very memorable for me as I go forward and think about preparing for Toastmasters as well. And then Eric, actually, I love the idea of the 4E of words. So we should find some way to bring that to life within our club, or make that an award that we bestow upon members in future meetings. Filler words, it was a really clean meeting. I didn't get a lot of filler words for any of our prepared speeches, for any of our roles today, or for any of our table topics. I actually want to call out special kudos to Marcelo for being up here and maybe not being able to get the word you want just in that moment. And instead of resorting to filler words, you paused, you thought for a moment, and you used a different word that was just as effective in that moment. I thought that was a really great way to demonstrate how not to use filler words and be effective as a speaker as well. So congratulations to all of our speakers. I thought it was a fantastic meeting again. Again, watch the video if you haven't yet. You will get lots of lessons in terms of how you're using filler words or not using filler words. And I will turn it back to our evaluator. Thank you.
That concludes the evaluation portion. Thank you for all your contributions. I will now turn the meeting back to our Toastmaster, Sonja.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to our evaluation team. We appreciate you. We cannot put on a meeting without you to know where we excelled and where we need to do some work. So thank you for pointing those things out in a loving and gentle way. The best way you do that in a relationship, in a loving and a gentle way. So thank you for making those powerful connections. With that said, I'm going to leave you, but everyone who knows Sonja knows she can't leave without a good quote. So this quote is from the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and he said this about connection. It really boils down to this, that all life is interrelated. We are all caught in an inescapable connection of mutuality, tired into a moment, a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one destiny affects all indirectly. Family, thank you for allowing South Florida Toastmasters to come here and potentially show up and show out. We love you. We thank you for the amazing connection you made with us. The relationship we hope will last forever. And with that, I will turn it over to our presiding officer, your president, Elvis Lopez.
Thank you, Sonja. And I would like to ask for another, in this case, if you don't mind, I would ask for a standing ovation with another round of applause for our Toastmaster of the day, Sonja. For an outstanding participation tonight. As you know, we have been in a hybrid meeting for almost 3 years now since COVID started, and we have been perfectioning our skills in the hybrid meetings. But as you know, it's also challenging being on the other side and being the leader of the meeting with everybody else in person. So that requires also a tremendous skill, and Sonja did it. Outstanding job tonight. So thank you again, everyone, for participating, especially our guests, for also an active participation in the table topics. I would like to say that I feel a little spoiled at Queen City Toastmasters. We have our area director and our division director as part of our club. Isn't that great? As we heard at the beginning of our meeting and also part of her presentation to our club with her icebreaker, we would like to formally extend our welcome to Carla Jones, our new member, but also our area director. I would like to, before I go through the round of the participation of our members to ask for your feedback, I would like to take advantage also that we have our area director to ask for Carla Jones also to give us her feedback of the meeting as a whole. What's your impression as the area director or as your first time being at Queen City Toastmasters?
I guess you know I was taking notes. So, I was actually also doing a dual role today and evaluating your club. And I will say this was an awesome meeting. You all are very talented. Don't ever think that you are still learning and growing Toastmasters. You are actually building Toastmasters. Therefore, I thought the meeting was great. Everyone was so helpful in reading. Like I was sitting here by myself. Everything was set up great. It started in ours. I didn't start on the outside, right, quite great, but everything was set up. I love the introduction, the support of everyone. I felt like everyone was very educated on their role and even perfect explanation for given. I agree. Toastmaster of the day. I've seen her speak before, and it's always great. And overall, I just thought the meeting was ran well. Like, kudos. Great job.
And now I would like to hear one more time from our guests. We still have a few minutes and we can do it briefly, but it's always great to hear from our guests who are here maybe, well, actually all of you are repeating guests. So please tell us one more time your final impression of the meeting. Starting with who's the first? Mike.
Yeah, another great week. I feel like all the speakers here is so good, like speak with so much passion and together. I definitely take a lot of mental notes. It leaves me inspired and encouraged to follow Sonja and hopefully when they get my speech. So yeah, that's great.
Well, again, I agree with the time that it was a great meeting. I feel like each week it gets better and better. I continue to be inspired. All of you and the preparations that I know that goes into preparing your speeches and just the genuineness and authenticity. So definitely looking forward to staying involved.
This add on to what Bird said, it's not a great meeting. Thank you, Colin. It's allowed me to be a better professional in my career and even further in my life. Thank you. I know that we all agree that we all wear different hats. Whether we're in the job, out, with friends, we all wear different hats. So thank you. And once again, I look forward to next week.
Like I say, every time that I go up there and I put myself on the line, I learn so much. I get better each and every time. I get so mad. I felt mad. When I stumbled over that word, that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm here. So I just appreciate everyone, putting yourself on the line also, and just being yourself. It just gives me so much confidence and inspiration to keep going. So I'm so angry. Yeah. First off, sorry for coming late. I came in the middle of your speaker. I mean, you were not affected at all, so kudos to you.
Colin, great speech, really loved it. Coming from the sports background, visualization can still be like the second. And then second thing that really helped me, in my sports career was adopting the mentality that how you do the small things, that's how you do the big things. So it came down to if I wanted to perform well in that game, it came down to even how I brush my teeth, how I plan my place, like everything has to like spot on, because if you're careless with small things, that's gonna carry over to the big things. So I just wanted to add that with me. Yeah, but great meeting. Thank you guys.
Now, I would like to also recognize. This is a tradition also, I believe it's part of Toastmasters, but it's been a tradition in our club, is to recognize the icebreaker of the day. Tonight, with this ribbon, Carla Jones. And usually with the icebreaker, we do it with a standing ovation. Now with that, before we close, I would like to leave you with two things. The first one is what we are doing as a club is taking us every year to be honored with a Distinguished Club Award. There's a Select Distinguished Award and also President Distinguished Award, which is what we are aiming for. We are just one goal away from being President Distinguished this year. So I would like to continue encouraging all of our members to continue with our speeches. Please sign up for roles for next week, and let's bid that goal before the end of June this year. So congratulate you for being part of our club, for being a club that is always stepping up. And as I said, let's bid up that goal before the end of June. Thank you so much, everyone, and please join us next week with our next meeting. This meeting.
Hi, fam. Stay blessed and safe.
Thank you, Sonja. Carla, everyone.